Are you religious?
Kind of, yeah. I'm doing Ramadan. I'm Muslim. I wasn't born Muslim. I was converted at 7 years old. I was really religious till I was 15, and once I got kicked out of my house, I stopped being religious.
Mm.
I'm trying to get back to it now, though. Yeah.
Is your mom also religious, or that was
Yeah.
something that you discovered by yourself?
So my mom became Muslim once my grandfather was Muslim. So yeah, it was while my mom. I forget, like, I think a couple months before we became Muslim, she was like, I did Halloween, and I was happy, and I think it was right before it's Christmas, and my mom was like, yeah, we're gonna be Muslim. I'm like, okay, you just didn't want to buy me gifts. That's all that. That's all
Yeah,
that means. But
you're
yeah,
like, this isn't genuine, Bob. You just didn't want to
yeah,
spend money for
just,
Christmas.
just tell me you didn't get a bonus. Like, please. But, nah, I think she's been Muslim since. I love the religion. I love religions in general. I like Abrahamic religions a lot, but I don't think I'm as religious as most people should, or as I should be. I feel like religion, Friedrich Nietzsche said, religion is like a pillar that people holds to wrap its life so they don't get washed away. And I think
Mm,
that religion is a very good guideline and a very good practical moral guideline. But I feel like I've seen people who've delved their whole personality, their whole life into religion, and it's good for some people, but a lot of people use, I feel like, religion as a tactic in order to gain advantage of others and stuff like that. But that's just my own personality,
yeah,
like my own personal experience. I don't think that people use religion as an evil way. I think they use it to get salvation.
I've never heard that Nietzsche quote, but I agree with it wholeheartedly. Like that seems to be the way in which I approach religion, and it's from a functionalist perspective, which is it can help you as an individual and as a community, as
Mhm.
groups, act as an anchor, as a foundation for a way of living that tends to be pro-social and to be more positive than the alternatives.
Exactly. I got the book, the Nietzsche book. I can give it to you. He would discuss about that. Like he said that mostly he said the weaker man was religious because if you're a person like a lot of the sins that religion deems like really immoral, like lust or greed or gluttony, he says that that's just a weaker man's perspective because like if I'm a strong man and I can kill 20 boars and eat 20 boars, this then you can only kill one boar. Why am I immoral for that? Or if I'm a beautiful man who can procreate with multiple women, you can't. Why is that my fault for that?
Yeah.
Why is it moral? But then now you said that's the balance out. That's what religion did, balance it out. I don't necessarily think all of that's like that, but I do agree that it is a guideline and it's a moral guideline. And a lot of people aren't self-aware. Only like I would say only probably 5%, 10% of the world is self-aware, for really truly self-aware. So it's a good guideline for people who want to learn how to become a little bit more self-aware, a little bit more in touch.
Yeah, and that was a great summary of Nietzsche's argument against what he calls the Christian morality and a morality of the victim. And he was trying to push a more aristocratic ethic of strength,
Yeah.
vigor, the individual, superior being able to impose his will
Hmm.
on our communities, our society, because it should be a matter of the superior Ubermensch having a morality as opposed to the Christian central idea of victimhood and sacrifice and humility.
Yeah, I agree with him wholeheartedly on those kind of things. But now as I'm getting older, I'm like, all right, maybe I should just let me just chill out. I don't want to be a nihilist. I don't want to be out here thinking.
Yeah, we all tend to have our Nietzschean moment, and as we embark on our life's journey, sometimes we are like, maybe this is a bit too close to
Yeah,
fascism to be
exactly.
feel
Just getting
comfortable
there.
with, but there's definitely a kernel of truth in that, and it goes back to being, like you were saying, a moderate and just approaching life through the lens of balance
Hmm.
and not necessarily going to either extreme, right? Like I think we need to learn from different dichotomies, different binaries, different energies, and bring them together in a spirit of compromise, in a spirit of synthesis and
Hmm.
integration, so
Hmm.
that we're able to live and have the best of all available worlds. Because I think that, yeah, that's the best way to approach life, as opposed to, oh, I need to go to this particular end of the spectrum and of the polarity and just stay there, and everybody else who's on the other side or not within this polarity is my enemy.
Exactly. But it's so hard though. That's the thing though. How do you do that? Because how do you break someone's mode of understanding to be able to warp them to understand someone else? A lot of people can't do that. Most majority of people can't do that. I feel like 8 out of 10 people can't do that.
I can't do it, and I'm about to be 40, and it's definitely a difficult approach to have, but we still have plenty of time to try to reach a ultimate synthesis of different ideas that we find in the world.
That's why I'm always kind of grateful for not having a dad as well too, because and having my experiences how I am, because I was able to not be kind of influenced by what is and what isn't right. And Islam kind of influenced me in certain things, but not altogether all what it is, like what life is. Being able to just be around different environments, different cultures, and seeing how everyone else operates kind of makes you realize, that this world is a lot more different than you think, and that you're not just a couple blocks. That like your world is not a couple
Mm.
blocks. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's what a lot of people, at least around this city, it's like a lot for a couple blocks. They go home, they just do their same thing, they go back to work, and they do that for years and years and years, and then it just gets to the point where it's like they can't break that mold, and they hate it, and they be resentful, and then this process starts over with their kids. They can't keep doing
What
that.
what's something you regret?
I regret not doing therapy sooner than I did it. I started therapy when I was 25. I did one stint of therapy when I was 20, but the dude was a weirdo, so I just didn't really want to. He was a weirdo. Pretty sure he was hitting on me, so I was like, all right. I just didn't want to talk to him at that point. All right. But
Yeah, not helpful.
not helpful at all. Not helpful at all. I was like, I want to be in love. He's like, well, you look very, you're handsome. He like kept on going. Like, I would love you if you were like, oh, yeah. I was like, all right, dude, he's got to chill out. But I'm not starting therapy and not getting the help I needed sooner. I deal with a lot of stuff in my head, and I'm an anxious person. I'm a very anxious person sometimes.
Mm.
Maybe not now as I'm getting older. As you get older, my mom said, once you get to your 40s, you don't give a fuck. And I'm hoping, I can't wait till I get to my 40s. like I just don't give a fuck. So getting therapy, like I said, I had a lot of problems. I was angry a lot. I was blaming everyone for my own insecurities. I was getting into these self-sabotage ways. I wouldn't cry. I didn't cry. The last time I cried when I was like 18. So I wouldn't cry. I wouldn't do anything. I'd be a womanizer a lot of times. I would do a lot of really, really, just really crappy things like people. In none of that situation did I ever blame anyone but them. I mean, never blame myself. I was like,
Mm.
there has to be something else that's going on with them. I'm doing everything I'm in my capabilities. And, when I was like 24, 25, I got out of a relationship with this girl who got me really, really like in my head. And my therapist kind of was like, why are you trying to fight? Like, why are you trying to save your mom? That's what she said. He said to me, I think I cried. And I was like, no, I really cried. And I was like, what's going on? And from that day on, it was kind of just like me breaking down why I do certain things. And since that, sun's a little bit brighter. My relationships are a little bit more less draining. They're still there because it's a process. It's not just you don't wake up one day and you're just healed. But it's my relationships are getting better, and my life is slowly becoming more stable. And I encourage that because there's a lot of people that don't do that, especially in the Black community, that don't want to do therapy and stuff, or like they tend to get advice from their friends. My friend right now, he's
Mm.
going through a situation where he might end up in a lot of jail time, and he got advice from the wrong person to what he should have done, and that's why he's getting in this situation. It's like you ask certain people certain things, and think they know what they're talking about, or they think they do know they have like what's best for you, but in all actuality, they might be even worse than you. So getting professional help and actually doing the work has been the best thing, and that was the biggest regret because I could have had this. I've been offered therapy since 16, and I've always been like, that's stupid, that's dumb, and I could have easily been a lot farther, I think, ahead in my life if I did therapy.
What made you decide when you were 25 to finally take it seriously and be fully committed to therapy?
I think it was the process of, I think around that time, my nephew killed himself, and he was going. My nephew to me was like the younger version of me. Like everything he did, from the personality, the way he talked, the way he acted, was literally just me. And he hung himself, God rest his soul, and he left the thing. He's like, I'm sorry, I couldn't deal with it. And it just made me realize, like, I felt the same way when I was in college. I would be like in the mirror, like, yo, I don't want to kill myself. I feel like I'm gonna kill myself. And just seeing that, like, my nephew do that and go through that, it just made me realize, like I can't do this to myself. I
Mm.
can't do this for like my family. Like, I gotta be better. I have to be better. And that's when I decided to, like, really solely focus on the betterment of myself mentally, and and emotionally, spiritually. Because I guess my ideal situation for me in my life, especially growing up, is like, if I never had a man to show me my ways, I want to be the man that can show my family and future
Mm.
generations how to actually do what it is. You don't have to be a certain way. You don't have to be the most masculine bull to be respected by a bunch of men, or you don't have to be the most player dude to get a gorgeous woman. You can just be yourself and be who you are and be a good person, and a lot of things will flourish in your life. So that's why I wanted to be, and I made a commitment to do that ever since.
That's great advice. Speaking personally, but I also know that it might apply to other men. You have certain ideas of what it means to be a man and ideas of masculinity that
Yeah,
pushes in the direction of violence, that pushes in the direction of being womanizers. And we want that validation and we want the celebration
exactly.
because we assume that that's what being a true man is. And getting a little bit of perspective and maturity just lets you know that that isn't necessarily what a true, whole, self-secure man needs to do.
Because everyone has unresolved issues. You gotta be able to deal with your issues, become secure with yourself, become secure with who you want to be. And through those kind of things, I realized, like, through me being myself, me being the 100% confident in who I am or secure with who I am, I can go into places. I have a nose ring. You know me, titular. You have a nose ring. I'm a very eccentric. I'm not really out here being like you. I'm not a really, I guess, traditional masculine man. But everywhere I go, people are just like, "Hey, what's up?" It's a lot of people are glad to see me, I guess. Or even my friends who I would say are what people think of as masculine. Dudes are out here, you know, out here with tattoos. Big men. We go construction workers. I'll be the
Yeah.
same way to them. Like, what's up, guys? And then, like,
Hmm.
they'll like me because of who I am. Because at the end of the day, it's about, if you want respect. You have to respect yourself, and in the sense, you have to be able to know who you are as a man and know what you know. And as a man, I feel like there's only a couple of things you need to know to be a true man. Like, you need to be able to provide, take care and stuff like that. And, like, be able to be a leader in some ways, and also be able to be a follower. Because a lot of people don't know you have to be, in order to be a leader, you have to be a follower. But, like, there's certain things you just, as a man, you need to be able to, or as a person, you need to be able to take care of. And then the rest, you just figure out what you want to be. Anyone has what it takes to be a man, I guess. And you just got to figure out what the rest of it is that entails who you are as a person. It's like I said, humans, we're not stupid. We might act stupid. We're not stupid. We have a sense of, we know when someone's not being themselves. So you got to have the validation. You have to have the security in yourself.
Hmm.
And that just comes with time, and that comes with experiences.
Authenticity. What's the best decision you've ever made in life?
Going to Rhode Island for college, or maybe working with autistic children. That might have been the best decision. I wanted to be a
Mm.
cop out of college, and the only reason I couldn't be a cop is because I was told that you can't smoke weed, and I just got out of college, and I got hired to be a cop, but they were like, in the questionnaire, it was like, do you have any, like, people in your family that are criminals? Like, yeah, of course. And they, all right, yeah, we think you're a really good asset and everything. We're gonna try to hire you. But do you smoke weed? Like, yeah, I just got out of college. Of course, I smoked weed.
Yeah.
And then because of that, I had to get a job at Devro, which is a behavioral facility in Westchester. And then I found my passion for working with
Mm.
children, helping kids out. So I think that might have been it. Or Rhode Island, where I got to be able to experience a different type of culture, a different type of vibe, and a different type of energy, and a different type of people too. And it made me realize, like, there's way more than Philadelphia. There's way more than the corner store with my homies. Different countries as well. So I'm excited for that. So I would say that one of those two.
Well, last three questions. What's your favorite book?
Right now, currently, it's *Sapiens*. It's a book about, I forget his name, Yusuf Hara or something like that. I don't know his name.
Yeah, I think it's Yuval Noah
Yuval.
Harari.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like, so *Sapiens* is definitely my one of my favorites. If not *Sapiens*, it's from Odani Azu. No longer human by him. And it follows the story of a Japanese elitist or aristocrat and his slow decline into madness. Like one of the last books from the Eastern culture, not influenced by Western culture. It shows how like Japanese culture works and how like just the way he talks about his life. He said it like how, like, give an example is his dad asked him, "What do you want for your gift?" In his head, he was like, "What I really want is a book. However, I know for a fact that he wants me to get a lion's mask, and it would make him happier, and it would make me rise up in the social status in his eyes." Like that's how it talks in the book, and I like that because it kind of shows me how I talk in my head. It's like when I go through decisions, I'm not out here just like, oh, at first I'm like, oh well, this not third. Like this will like what were the reactions that are chain reactions, that kind of stuff. So No Longer Human's probably my favorite.
It seems like you have this connection to Japanese society and Japanese culture, just from your exposure to koi farming
Mm-hmm.
and bonsai trees. And now with this book, and I know you just finished mentioning that you'd like to travel. Is Japan number one on the list, or?
Tokyo is going to be definitely number one, especially once I become a famous director and everything. That's where I'm going to go. You have no idea, man.
I want to go too. So if you become a famous director, make sure that you don't, forget old friends.
Yeah, 100%. That's like my dream place to go. I might live there for a couple months, maybe a year in my later years, because I love it too much. I've been engulfed in that kind of culture since I was like 6, when my stepfather at the time showed me anime for the first
Mm.
time and everything. I couldn't. He's like, you can't listen to it in dub or English. You have to listen to it with the Japanese original voice and the subtitles. So like that's always, it's like, Japanese culture has always been like my thing, my interest.
What's your favorite movie?
That's hard because I do a lot. I watch a lot of movies, do a lot of research for movies. I would say Gladiator, Gladiator, because that's like the original OG movie for me. That's why I thought I was gonna be Russell Crowe when I was older, and I was gonna kill people in the ring. But then I realized that you can't do that. It's not.
Not anymore. Not
Not
anymore.
anymore. I was like, dang it. You should have, when I watched Ninja Assassin, I thought I was gonna be a ninja, and I for like 4 months I practiced outside punching trees. Unfortunately, my mom ruined my dreams. She said I can't be a ninja, and I did cry, but it was cool. after I cried, it was cool. But yeah, Gladiator is definitely my favorite.
I love that movie as well. Have you seen Gladiator Part Two?
I've seen a little bit of it,
Okay.
and quite frankly, it's cool, but it's not Gladiator.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, I mean, Denzel Washington's cool, I guess. Like, rarely are there many sequels that are better than the original. So
Yeah.
maybe like 28 Days Later was, I mean, 28 Weeks Later was better than 28 Days Later. Maybe that. Shrek, maybe 2 is better than Shrek 1. Maybe. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah, that could be a debate.
Godfather Part Two. I think it's like
Yeah,
the classical example of the sequel being better than the original. Although that's debatable, right? Like
that's debatable too. Harry Potter, I would say Harry Potter got progressively better
that's
after.
true. That's a good point.
My aesthetic, I guess, when it comes to making films, is more psychological. Like a good psychological movie that I just recently watched was Cure. It's a Japanese movie. It's about a man who does hypnosis on people and that makes them kill themselves, which is a really cool one. I mean, not cool because it makes them kill,
I
but
was about to say like the movie is cool,
the
the
movie's
premise
cool.
not so
The
much.
movie, the concept, the ideal behind it is very, 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 very cool. It's very, and the way he talks is very cool. Like I said, I'm a big component of how dialogue is used, because I like when it sounds authentic or like it real.
Mhm. And then last question, what's your favorite album?
Blonde by Frank Ocean. Yeah, Blonde by Frank Ocean. When I was in college and I was going through I had a kind of a breakdown in college due to track and all this other stuff I was doing. First of all, D1 track is not cool and definitely horrible. But um,
Why
when I
why do you say that? It's just physically
was burned out, I
demanding
just got burnt out
mentally?
a lot. Burnt
Okay.
out a lot and everything. I would have to work. I would have to go to school. Then I would have to run from like 3 to 7, and then after stat, I would have to go to study hall and do that every
Mm.
day for 4 years. It's a lot. and not the trap and everything. But when I was going through like a breakdown, that album kind of saved my life because
Mm.
he talks a lot about life and love and who you want to be. And the song Siegfried was one that really saved my life because that was when I was like at my lowest point in my life. I was dealing with a lot of things, and that song just kept on was the one that resonated the most. I think he said maybe I should move and settle with 2 kids in a swimming pool, but I'm afraid. And then I thought I always resonate like maybe I should just settle into being who I would who they want me to be, but I'm afraid to do that.
That's a great album. Like, I think you're the second person to have chosen that one, maybe even third. I think it captured something about America, about youth.
Definitely a coming of age album, I would think.
Yeah.
It makes you gotta sit down and think about. But that's how all Frank Oceans are always kind of just very introspective, and they have deeper meanings and they have
Yeah.
layers. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been following music or popular culture much lately. Is he on on track to release anything new, or he,
I
because
don't
I
think
feel like he just kind of disappeared even after Blonde, but I wouldn't know if he's making some sort of comeback or is doing the whole D'Angelo thing of just
just being gone.
disappearing.
Well, D'Angelo had a reason because he became a sex icon after Untitled.
And he didn't want to be.
Yeah, he didn't want it. He was like, I didn't mean to make it like that. I was like, well, D'Angelo, you should have did that then.
But the comeback album,
Mm-hmm.
another amazing
Vanguards and all
album.
that. Yeah. Oh my
Whew.
God.
Maybe the wait will be worth it when Frank Ocean comes back and it's something even better than Blonde, which will be like mind blowing,
I
right?
don't know if maybe if it does.
I'm saying.
Don't get my hopes up that much. I don't. I'm in the same boat. I don't really like that much newer music. I'm going backwards. Right now. I'm in the '60s currently. There's a book that has covers from the '60s, the '90s, and all I've been doing is kind of
Mm,
figuring out any album cover that looks really cool to me. I just put on the album and rock out. Right
yeah,
now, I just got done what's it called? Simon and Garfunkel. Yeah, Bookends. That's a
yeah,
good album. Good album. Probably Old Friends is probably top 10 songs I've ever heard in my life.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna play that song that you just mentioned right after we're done with this
Yeah.
episode. So
Oh, Old
thank you,
Friends.
thank you in advance.
Old Friends by Simon and Garfunkel. It's about these two 70-year-old friends who meet at a park, and they're just talking about life, and they're both kind of like I'm a very I like melancholy, I like darker stuff, but
Mm.
they're both talking and going about their life and talking about experiences, but they both in the back of their head realize they're gonna die soon, and it's very theatrical, it's very cinematic the way they compose of it. It's like a wash of feelings after a while.
One of my big embarrassments in life is that I have this huge gap in musical knowledge when it comes to quote unquote white music. So I'm always asking people to give me good pointers, good ideas, good albums that are like from any era, so that I could just listen to them because I'm Latin, so I know Latin music,
Yeah,
and grew up in New York City, so I got into hip hop and R&B.
exactly.
So I only know hip hop and R&B and Latin music. Anything outside of that, I like have no idea.
That's how I was for a while. Then I got kicked out. I got kicked out of my house and kind of went to my uncle's, and then all I listened to was like
Right.
Crazy Elephant and stuff. And I'm just like, all right, now I get why they like it. I get where
Yeah.
they.
I want to get to that place, yeah, because lots of people are just like, bro, you're missing out on so much beautiful, great music if you're
Yeah,
just narrowly focused on just one or two genres.
trust me. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I trust me. It gets better. You gotta go through past the bull crap first, and then you'll get to the point where like, oh, this is actually really really good. Old stuff is really good.
Well, Nigel, it's been great talking to you. Thank you for being part of the What's Liking podcast.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and I can't wait to see this, and I can't wait to see you go to Japan being a great, famous podcaster yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'll be recording the directorial celebration of Nigel Hill in Japan and having conversations with people about how your film is their favorite.
God willing.
All right,
Yeah.
man. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. I'll see you.
All
Take
right,
care.
take care.